Hello, hello, hello. It's good to be with you again. My name is Samuel Atamensa, and this is how I welcome you to Footprint. We'll be right back after this.
Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor, an accomplished academic, politician and businessman, was born on the 23rd of November 1944 in Kumasi. He lived with his family in Ashtown, where he attended basic school. After completion of his basic and middle school education, Dr. Amoako Tuffuor proceeded to the Achimota School, then to the University of Ghana for his tertiary education. He graduated with a degree in physics and left to the United Kingdom to pursue a second degree after working with the Ghana Meteorological Department. Dr. Amoako Tuffuor, upon attaining his second degree, left to the United States for his doctorate course. He returned to Ghana after completion and taught civil engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. He also ventured into business and managed a number of restaurants in Kumasi. After a number of years in Ghana, he entered politics and is among the founding members of the new Patriotic Party, the MPP. Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor tells his story on Footprints now.
Welcome back to the program. And now you know who I am talking about. I was just a young university student, KNUST, when I first met him one-on-one. Prior to that, my closest distance to him would be what I read about him in the newspapers. But today, I am here to have a conversation with the man himself, Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor. Doc.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. Same here.
And welcome to the program.
Thanks a lot.
I'm sure a lot of people would be happy to have you in their homes today, because there's so much to talk about. More importantly, anybody who has had anything to do with the laws of Ghana wouldn't have succeeded if they never read anything about Tuffuor versus Attorney General. And this is the man we are going to have a chat with today. So thanks again for your time. Doc, how have you been?
Oh, by his grace, I'm fine. And I thank him very much for his kindness and mercies.
Tell us, who is Kwame Amoako Tuffuor?
Ooh. A very complicated person.
Not
but
so
the
complicated.
least complicated is that I give everything to the Almighty for whatever He's made me to be and whoever I am.
Amen.
So that's the first and foremost. I nearly didn't even go to school.
Wow.
My mother used me as her cashier. I used to go around with her trading.
So where were you born?
Where?
Kumasi.
Kumasi. Ashtown.
Greater Kumasi.
Ashtown.
Ashanti Newtown.
Yes.
Or Ashanti Newtown, as you say. Wow.
Those days when you say Ashtown, it means a lot of things. Now it's
That's
changed.
where everything was happening.
Exactly.
Wow. So you were just you boarded in Brome, right?
Yes.
In Brome,
Yes.
Where all the big guys used to live.
Yes. I was on Kotoko Street, which was a stone throw to Baffa Kuto's place where the action troopers were for the National Liberation Movement.
At which age did you enter formal education?
Oh, I think I was about 5 years.
Okay.
Thereabouts. But I was too little. So the headmaster or head teacher didn't want to admit me.
Those were days that they used size and then asked
you put your hand around
your shoulder.
Yes. It wasn't touching the other.
Wow,
ear, so.
that was very intelligent of them then, I think. Looking 50 years back,
That's
for
right.
somebody to qualify to enter the school, you should be able to do this.
Yes, because
All of us will fail.
Your date of birth wasn't very well recorded those days.
Oh, okay.
Either you were born in a government hospital, somebody forgot to list your name, you see, and at times when you are born today, you are not properly named.
Named, okay.
You see, there will be a naming ceremony about a week, 2 weeks That's when they will call you Kwame Amoako.
Oh, so...
But they may write your mother's name there or whatever. So if it is not very well captured...
And that's it.
Date of birth is gone. You estimate it by different people's age and all that.
Yeah. I know. So your early years, which school did you start with?
Methodist Primary at KO. That is Ashtown. KO is near the Central Market. The main Freeman, Methodist Freeman School. That is the main Methodist school in Kumasi at the time. There were other branches, but that is the key one.
So you did class 1 through to which level?
I started with class 2, primary 2, and then I was jumped from primary 3 to primary 5. And then I left the primary school after primary 6. And then to middle school at Kwendi Yadom.
At Ashtown. Yes. Still at Ashtown.
Still at Ashtown.
So, Charlie, you were just the mayor of Ashtown. Because there was so much activity.
Yes.
Overlooking the Kumasi Jom as well.
Yes. Yes. But you need to put your act together. I was blessed to have a woman, mother, who was very strict and wouldn't want you to bend her rules.
Yeah.
Go and have a haircut. She tells you once, you don't do it. The second one, when you are asleep, she comes with a pair of scissors and just zooms through your hair. So the next day you go and do it. You discipline.
Well, the human rights people today, Okay, so quick one. So from middle school, you went to secondary school. Which school?
Achimota School. You want to know why I chose Achimota?
Exactly the question I was going to ask.
I had to fill my forms.
Yourself?
Oh, yeah. And looking at the schools, I decided Achimota was the only one that head off because of Achimota sandals. So that's why I chose Achimota School.
Oh, man.
Because it was the most popular on the list.
More time people should hear this. So, Doctor says that he chose Achimota School because it was familiar because of Achimota sandals. For the younger people, they don't even know what Achimota sandals
They don't know what Achimota sandals. And when I got to the school, I was so short, little. They gave me a female shoe.
Oh.
When your feet are small, they give you the girls' shoes. And then the boys start laughing at you. So I got a female Achimota sandals.
Wow.
Till the next term, I'd been laughed at, so I realized that when you have graphic, and you put it into the shoes, you can...
It extends the front.
So I went and the matron said, no, you can't wear the bigger one to come off your feet. I said, you are not going to wear it. You give it to me. So I went and put newspaper in, and I could walk
straight.
Oh, yeah.
So, Achimota sandals are kind of prescribed sandals for schools. Typically, they were brown in color.
Made by Bata.
Yeah, made by Bata shoes at the time.
Yes.
And later, Kumasi Shoe Factory started producing a lot
of people of them.
And we all had to wear Achimota sandals. And they were very good, I must say.
Yes.
And there was one with leather sole and one with rubber sole.
Yes.
Yes. No, you lived their life. So Achimota School, you were there for how long?
Up to Form 5. And I changed to go to Prempeh College because there was too much discipline in Achimota.
Oh, you wanted to live life proper?
No, I wanted to also find out. That time, Prempeh was coming up.
Yeah.
And I liked some of the students coming from there and all that. And then it's in Kumasi.
So some of your own friends influenced you into the choice of Prempeh set form.
Yes.
Which year would this be?
This was 61.
So you went Achimota. Do you remember some of your own mates?
Achimota School?
Yeah, who are still in, or who are in public life.
One that you all know is Professor John Evans Atta Mills.
Oh.
President of the Republic of Ghana. He was my classmate.
Oh, he was your
entered
classmate?
from one same classroom together.
Wow. Wow.
The other person around that you may also know is Osafo Mafu.
Oh, nice.
He was older than us. He probably did some few skirmishes before coming to secondary school.
Oh, okay. So he's still older than you then?
Oh, definitely.
Or now you are the same age?
No. Well, now we're the same page, but then
he had come from a Wisa?
Yes, he came from a Wisa.
Jesus.
And they had,
from a Wisa to Achimota.
Yes. Then
Jesus
there
Christ.
is Kwame Kwansan, who was managing director of Barclays. Yes. A whole host of
he's been
different
chairs.
people, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But
now, what's some of your fondest memories in Achimota School? Or you're still
I like
quiet?
the classical music.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you a lot of the classical things, good hymns, discipline, over discipline at the time.
You mean a lot more than was required?
A lot more than that. Now, one of my fondest memories was about when I was going to the secondary school. You fill forms. Is your father a farmer? I was filling. So I said, these people, they think I should say my father is a farmer, so he's a bushman. And my father was a farmer, and I didn't write farmer. You see, I said no. Then I went on and on and on. So when the results came, if your father was a farmer, a special cocoa farmer, you get full scholarship.
Jesus.
And I had failed that my father wasn't a farmer, so I was giving government scholarship, I think 1/3, or that's what they were giving. And my mother was looking after me. God bless her soul.
Wow.
When I see women, especially when they are tough, I love them because my mother decided she was going to look after me. And I remember her shop. We had a beer bar and all that going down because of paying school fees. So I went to one of my teachers called Reverend Setse. He taught us religion, Bible studies, religious knowledge. I told him that I made that mistake by not saying my father was a farmer and all that. I said, write a letter. We'll go and give it to the headmaster. So I wrote the letter and I addressed it to him. Reverend Father, his name was Se. Then I wrote Tete, Tsetse. Not knowing that in his olden days, people were teasing him at Setefly.
Ooh.
The man saw it and said, damn you. You two, you are calling me Tete. Well, how did you get the name from? It was just a mistake.
And that was it.
The man shouted at me. I broke down crying. I said, I beg you. I went down on my knees, held him. Foolish boy.
Oh.
Then he stood there the way I cried. Get up. I got up. So what do you want to say for yourself? I said, you are a father. You are closer to God. You should forgive me. He looked at me. So what did you say? I said, it was a genuine mistake. Please forgive me. The main problem is I need scholarship. My mother cannot take care of it. So he went ahead and did it. But each time he saw me, he looked at me gazingly.
Wow.
So before I left the school, he called me. Said, there's something in you that I like. You faced me. You had made a very bad mistake, but you apologized, but you faced me. And I was very sorry all this time. So I want to apologize to you. And he did.
Wow.
So he was never my enemy, but we became friends.
That's good. So that was
Better
Achimota
friends, yes.
School. Remember the school ode? The Achimota school ode?
Ode?
Yeah, the song. The Achimota
songs?
school anthem.
You want me to sing? You won't like it, please.
No,
I beg you.
no, just a few lines. I mean, that connects to all the Achimota people.
We have Glorious Cuisinic.
Glorious cuisine. That, and then the other one.
You know about that? You are an Achimutan?
No, I am not.
From Gambaga to Accra, from Uyaso to Keta, we are brothers and our sisters in our school. You see, that's another one.
That's the more popular one.
Yes.
Good. So it means that you have registered an Akura, as they say.
Oh, definitely.
Good. So from there, we went to Prempeh College. 2 years.
2 years.
How was the experience?
The first shock I had was that because I came from Achimota, I must know games, everything about sports. Because Achimota was known for this. So they put me in the soccer thing, you know. Now, I mean, I couldn't kick, my friend. He comes and then, now go with fresh water.
No,
so finally they removed him from the team. Then it came to house
athletics.
They have house plays that you go and set up a play for the whole school from house to house. And this particular housemaster, we nicknamed him Kwame Tuffuor. I went and met the name. He said, I looked like a woman, so I should be dressed in women's clothes in the play. And he was at lower six. With all the little boys and all that. Later I took a picture. I looked like a woman though at that time.
Good.
But those are some of them.
Who are some of your mates there too?
Most of them did medicine afterwards. But the most significant one at that time is Samuel Ejapon, Professor Ejapon, who became the Vice Chancellor of the University of Cape Coast. He was my mate.
So that's the account of your early years, yes. Up to end of secondary education, properly so-called at the time. So if you just tune in, I have been speaking with Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor. We've just completed Prempeh College. We'll be right back and then talk about his university education. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the program. This is Footprint on Citi TV. My name is Samuel Atamensa, and I'm here with Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor. So he's just finished his secondary education, one of the privileged institutions, Prempeh College, Achimota School. So he had it all together before uni. So, Doc, I was actually hoping that you would end up in KNUST. But I'm told that you went to University of Ghana. Why that?
Yes.
Because you're a science student.
I was, yes.
Okay.
I wanted to do physics.
Really?
Yeah. And so that's why I went to Legon.
You didn't like the tech physics at the time?
At that time for engineering, no. I thought I had some ambitions in physics.
Okay.
And later on I realized that for the future, engineering would have been better.
Okay.
So
what were you looking at when you wanted to do physics?
Atomic energy.
Well, that must be the way.
At that time, Nkrumah wanted to set up Kabenya.
Yeah.
You know, and it was coming, and some of my strengths were in those kinds of areas and interested areas. So that is what was
So you're a mathematics person, true and true.
Yes. I did maths too at Legon.
Within your period, a lot of people were seeking to go outside of Ghana through various scholarships to do their tertiary education. How come you didn't?
I did. Well, at that time,
first degree, yeah.
Don't ask me that. Let me tell
I just
you.
did.
I had a scholarship to go and do medicine after A-levels.
In which country?
In England, Liverpool, really. And when I had to go for the medical exam, the strangest thing was a woman who lived in our house, compound house, was a nurse who was in charge to do physical exam. Now, physical exam, you go and stand in front of the nurse, you will strip you naked and examine everywhere and all that. I said, Mommy, to do that in a house, I thought, I went to Komfanochi a few times to find out whether I could get a substitute. Every time, this is the woman who has to do it.
But what was the problem with that? Was she a young woman?
No, an elderly woman. But, at times you get shy.
Oh, you were shy?
Yes.
If she were young, I would have suggested something else.
Oh, was young, I would have taken care of her.
Oh, nice.
This woman, and the way, she comported herself in the house and all that. I went to Komfanoche 3 times. And she noticed me twice. And called me the second time. What was I looking for? I keep coming. I said, I want to do physical exams. I'm the one to do it. So when you are ready, come.
Come. Yeah.
I said, no, I can't strip in front of you. He says, then you don't want the scholarship. And I refused the scholarship.
Wow. Because you had options.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. But you see, there are things in this life that guide you, your spirits in this life. You see, I may be everything, politician, this, that, but God is very primary in my life. I'm a sinner. I do all the normal things that people do wrong.
The ones sinners do? Or the ones sinners do?
Sinners do, but I apologize.
Oh, okay.
You see,
so
now,
sinners,
something inside me was telling me I shouldn't do medicine.
Oh, okay.
So I got a scholarship. It wasn't a big deal. So I ended up at Lagos to do physics.
Oh.
And then at that time you would do, you take 2 subjects, you do major and minor. You see, honors physics, you have to do minor maths. Together with your physics for the first 3 years, and your 4th year is your physics honors. So that's the 2 subjects I did at that time. That was it.
So you graduated with physics major?
Yes. So then I went to England.
Immediately?
No, I worked here 1 year.
Where?
At Meteorological Services. I like the way you question, you probe. It's for somebody to go into Meteorological Services, because that is where scholarships were being given.
Oh, okay. So you
So
were very
I ended up
strategic.
there. Very. So I ended up there.
Hang on. At this point, what was your mother thinking?
She
What was
being
her
an
expectation?
illiterate.
Yeah.
She being an illiterate, she was very disappointed that I had a nephew, same age. He did political science. Political science is 3 years. And physics honors is 4 years.
4 years.
So he finished, came out after 3 years, was the same class range. And then he went to work as manager at Kingsway Stores.
In Edum?
No, this one was in Accra.
Accra, okay.
You go and he has a white shirt, tie, and walking majestically around, manager. And me, after the 3rd year, I went 4th year. So my mother thought I'd failed.
Oh, okay.
She's an illiterate. She didn't know the difference. You go to university 3 years, one has finished. Why can't you finish? I brought all my mates there to explain to her it didn't work.
Wow.
Okay, so I went to work at Meteorological Services. And whenever my mother came to Accra to look for me, I was in normal shirts like these. She wouldn't talk.
Tie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what did Amoako study? He will ask my nephew, who was quite a bad nephew. Not really. He wasn't very honest with my mother. You know what he told my mother? It's all right. You know, where he's working, it's okay. It's okay. Mother said, why is it okay? You are in Thai, he's not. And he said, his job is to say tomorrow it will rain. It will also be sunny. And my mother asked, is this what Amoako went to study?
Yes.
So I think she didn't have any respect for me around that time. Mm-hmm. I left for England till I had my doctorate.
No, but so going to England should be news to the family, especially with your mom.
Yes.
So how did you communicate that opportunity?
Well, I told her that she had been wrong all the time, and that by the time I come back, I'll be holding a doctorate degree, which she didn't understand, didn't care. So, Ubakwa doctor, you know, are you going to be a medicine man? Because when those days you say doctor, that's what it meant. Mm-hmm. So, till I came back, that is when she opened up one day. So I thought you said you had failed third year.
Yeah, as we were
and then you were repeating. Mm-hmm. And when you repeated, you finished, they sent you to go and work in a foolish place like Meteorological Services. Oh, she was a very blunt woman. I said, it's not a foolish place. I said, today it will rain. Me, illiterate, I can tell you when I look at the skies, I know it will rain. Why would you go to university to come and tell us that?
Wow. So, which school did you end up attending in the UK?
Reading University in Berkshire.
In where?
Berkshire County.
Oh, you mean Reading? Okay,
Reading,
good.
yeah.
And you didn't continue with physics?
I deviated slightly and took a master's that had physics and engineering and water resources.
Which will be, what's the name of the program?
Call it geophysics. Geophysics, that's earth sciences.
Yeah.
And then you took courses in atmospheric sciences. Then on the earth sciences, water resources engineering became my real interest. And then I took that into US.
Now, there's word that you were such an outstanding student that made all Ghanaians very proud in Reading. I don't know how he came by that.
You know, everything that's happened to me in my life academically, I give the thanks to God. Okay, I did my best. It was really in US, you see, that when I did the doctorate, you know, I hit some distinctions. It normally doesn't happen like that. And then I got into a very prestigious university to teach, Purdue University.
Yeah, Purdue, yeah.
Purdue in West Lafayette, Indiana. It's one of the biggest Nobel laureates. University people pick them from different places.
Okay.
And
so tell me,
when I got there,
from Reading, did you come back to Ghana?
No.
But you went on scholarship?
Yes.
Ghana government scholarship?
Yes.
And you ran away?
Yes. To continue to come and serve Ghana.
I like that angle.
but you're asking a very interesting question here.
Yeah.
You know, I left for US. When I had finished the master's, I had to come back.
Yeah.
But I got admission at Colorado State University.
Okay, Colorado State. Okay.
I was going to do an attachment course for meteorological services. 6 months. Some people may say I was smart. I registered for my PhD straight there. and clocked straight A's. Okay, so when Meteorological Services wanted to take me out, scholarship had run out. So I had to go round and end up in Washington, those who were overseeing the scholarship, so as to hand over and then fly back to Ghana. By that time, I had started a 6-month research on the Fellowship of National Science Foundation of U.S. government. The research was going very well.
This will still be at Colorado State University?
This was still at Colorado State.
So where were you living then? Where?
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Okay. Right.
Now, I'm coming to one of my crossroads in this life. So when I came to Washington, to the embassy, showed them my results, grades, I thought they were going to be excited for me to continue to do the PhD. And there was a strong word and a letter there that my scholarship had to be cancelled and I should come home straight. So that day, there was an open lecture that I had to do with my supervising professor. He had flown from Colorado to Washington with me. So he called me to come and talk. Something told me, I had already been told that my scholarship was cut off, so I had 0 funds to continue. This professor said, Sam, I was then called Samuel Tuffuor, Sam, go and give 10 minutes of what we are doing. And I went, something told me, and at times we must listen to our inner voices. Something told me, tell them what has happened to you today. So I started by saying, I came to try and see whether my scholarship is renewed, and I have no scholarship to continue, even on this research. But by the way, this is what we've done. As soon as we finished, there was a man sitting, an old man. He walked straight to me, white man. He held me by the hand, said, my son, I'll give you full scholarship. So I ended up on a U.S. government scholarship. The day I lost, I got one.
Speechless. And that was how you were able to
continue to do
your
the
PhD.
Yes. And when I finished, I always had it in here, give something back to the government. So
your PhD was not a continuation of geophysics?
No, it was purely in water resources engineering. And we did a lot of mathematical materials, simulation models and stuff like that. Operations research. Now, I had it here that I had to give something back to the government.
Which government? Which government?
Of Ghana.
Okay.
So instead of continuing at a certain point to work for U.S. government and to work in tandem with U.S. government Corps of Engineers in water projects, in simulation models, in flood-prone areas and dangerous research work. You cannot flood here. You can flood here. You can let the water go here, that kind of thing. Purely mathematical, but engineering. Then I decided, no, enough of this. I knew what I was going to do business-wise in Ghana.
So let me take it one step at a time. After your PhD, meaning you had employment in the U.S.?
Yes.
As an engineer, obviously.
Yes.
And for how long were you there?
I did it for 2 years. Then I quit. That is when I was employed as assistant professor at Purdue University.
Okay.
From Colorado,
You went to Purdue
to go and
University.
teach and do research there.
Lovely. Same area?
Same area, yes.
For how long were you there in Purdue?
2 years.
Another 2 years.
It was sad 2 years that I had a choice to continue. And I said, no, I had saved enough money that I wanted. All the basic things I needed. I sacrificed a lot. After PhD, I also worked in a factory to make extra money.
Add some money.
Yes.
Which factory? Nose mask?
You want an interesting thing. You know the cover of the old telephone box is plastic.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Right. Now, you go to this factory, they have a mold sitting in a metal casing, and then you put a dough, plastic dough, on and then you smash, bang. Then you remove it, it has a form. Everybody was doing 200, 300 cases per night. Okay? Because I was teaching, doing research, and I go to the factory, I was too tired. First day, 80. The foreman came to me and said,
Young man,
what the hell do you think you're doing here? 80? Look at him. 200. This is. Then he shoved me this way. I didn't talk because I had gone there and told them I wanted to work in the factory. They didn't know who I was.
Yeah, of course.
I was a professor in the biggest university there, but incognito, another black man walking around. The next time, the man came to me, and I was clocking about 85, almost to the end of it, when people were doing 200. He hit me here, bang. I told myself, this is enough punishment, you know. So I was going to the men's room to think whether I needed that money extra. What is this extra money? By the way, all those times I was selling, importing Dumas, wax prints, and selling to Americans. Because don't think of me as a businessman at Ojampa. You know, I was doing it all of. I started with my mother. I was a cashier. So I did. I sold graphic, bread, everything. Okay. Now, just before I turned into the toilet, two white boys came and accosted me. I said, aren't you Professor Tuffuor? Miyemu Pram. You know, it's the students who needed those factory work to pay their fees and stuff like that. What are you doing here? I had to think fast. So, you know, in the systems course that I teach you, you must be in your first year or third year. I said first year. One of them was so disgusted to see the professor being maltreated. Like, what does he want? I said, you know, most professors, they don't go and do practical things. This is Ashton Witt.
Thank you. One bit more.
Complete. Because you're a bathroom, no, I didn't go there to do anything, but
I did.
1 week pay no aye.
And that was it. Anyway, so hey, we're still here on Footprint talking to Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor, and very interesting his experiences in the US, in the UK, and you know. So we'll just take a short break. We'll be right back to see how he ended up back in Ghana. Don't go away. Welcome back to the program. This is Footprint, and this is Citi TV. So I'm here with Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor. So, Doc, you are now a lecturer in Purdue University, and having completed your PhD in Colorado State University, having finished your master's program in Reading University, which is a very quiet place at the time.
Yes.
Did you at any point get involved in students' politics?
Yes, not in England, but in Ghana, at Legon, we had started NUCS.
NUCS, yeah.
And William Matthew, late William Matthew, was the president, and I was the general secretary at the time. So that was my first thing at the university level. But in secondary school, I was the chairman of Ashanti Students Union.
ASU.
Yes, at the time.
Okay.
See? So I had all these backgrounds. So in the U.S. was where the highlight was.
What did you do?
We had African Students Union, and I was their president.
How did you become president?
Oh,
voting, elections,
you talk few times, and they think you are radical enough because at that time there was.
You mean you give a speech?
Yes.
They'll say yeah.
You know, and then, yes. So I became the African Students Union president, and then at that time we were trying to merge blacks of the diaspora together. Because there had been so much discrimination, Luther King's time and all that. Okay? So we had
which year exactly would this be?
68, 69.
Okay.
So we had an election, and I became the black students, that's Africans, West Indians, black Americans, president. Okay? Then the Democrats, U.S. Democrats and Republicans were going to have their national presidential elections. So right at the beginning, George McGovern was the presidential candidate for Democrats, and Richard Nixon was for Republicans. So McGovern heard about me and made me his campaign manager for the entire Colorado, in charge of the blacks. Okay, later on I was mingling with the white groups and all that, but my thing was that after all these years, from 60, he didn't win. He lost to Richard Nixon, who was later on impeached.
Yeah.
Now, after all these years, I had gone to US, I'd been back here, school feeding, blah, blah, blah. Gone to US for a lecture on hunger and poverty. It was one of Millennium Development Goals at the time of the UN.
This will be during President Tuffuor's time.
President Tuffuor's time. So I was talking, and then there was an old man. There was a high table at the back with VVIPs. He came down, he walked and walked and walked, and in between my talk, I was watching him. He came, stood and said, "Can I have your mic?" Very unusual happening. I said, "This voice belongs to Sam, who was my campaign boss in Colorado. But you have a new name." I changed it to Kwame Amoako Tuffuor. And I said, "How did you notice me?" Because he had aged a bit, but I could recognize that it was him. He says, "Your voice."
Wow.
It's never left ringing my ears all these years, from 68, 69, till we're talking about
2006, 7?
Around 2004, 5, somewhere like that. Look at all the year gap.
Yeah, it's a long time.
I said, "It must be you." And at that time, too, I had lost my hair. He could easily tell.
Wow.
And it was a very nice, emotional thing and all that.
Yeah.
And clapping and all that kind of stuff. But that was the linkages with politics. I hadn't left it at all.
At all.
Yeah.
Good. So after Purdue University, you came straight to Ghana, or
Yes.
you did other things?
No.
What brought you to Ghana?
first I knew that I had to satisfy the 5 years teaching thing in Ghana after taking a scholarship through this. So I was ready to do that. And Kumasi, yes. But I was also going to do some businesses that I could also set it up in Kumasi. So that's why I didn't waste time to come.
Right. So when you came, what happened?
I came, I set up, I was teaching at KNUST. Then I saw the cabin. The cabin later on became the Black Knight. And then Ojampa now. But the cabin was owned by R.S. Amegashi, Sylvanus Amegashi, who opened a Chinese restaurant first in Ghana, here in Accra, Mandarin.
Mandarin restaurant, in Cantonment, right?
Yes. And at that time, he opened the cabin. He was a lecturer at KNUST for business administration. He started the business school
in Legon.
At Legon. That's why they've named something after him there. So he was running it. He didn't have time. He had become a bigger man, now stationed in Accra and all that. So this is a very interesting part of my business life. So I went to the cabin, sat there. I liked the place, but I'd run down. So I asked for the owner. They told me it was in Accra, blah, 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 blah. So I decided to go and see him. So I went. I said, what do you want, young man? Where are you from? I said, KNUST. Oh, I used to teach there. I know. I said, but what do you want? I said, I want the cabin. Do you know who the owner is? I said, yes, sir. Who is the owner? I said, you. But I haven't told you I want to sell the cabin. You know what I told him? A man like you, that the whole country has so much respect for your business acumen. You set up business school. For you to be linked with a place that is not functioning business-wise is a big indictment on you. He started shouting. He called his secretary and he said, come and listen to that small boy. Look at what he's saying. He wants to buy me out. Then I was quiet. Then there was a lady who listened to the argument and said, but Uncle Sylvan, you don't have time to go to Kumasi. He hadn't been to Kumasi for about 8 years since he bought those things and set them up. He had friends who were looking after. He was making money in Accra. Couldn't go to Kumasi. He said, let's go to Kumasi. So we set up the time. I went to the cabin. Now, this is a trickster game, but I want to tell the young people who are listening to me that you must be smart. If you want to do business, you have to be smart. I went there one evening and there were a lot of mice, the big ones that go can run. I said, Nkurapa. I said, that's my trump card. So I put food, breadcrumbs inside the kitchen, which wasn't functioning. Oil-clad place and all that. I had all the came to it. So the day that Sylvan was coming, I made sure I starved the mice. So I told the manager, you should leave the kitchen to me, because one day I'll be the owner of this place, and if you fool about now, I'll sack you. He didn't understand me. I just kept coming back and forth. The kitchen was not functioning. You know, it was filthy, oil. So I went and put the bread there when Sylvan and Co. had arrived at the car park. So I led them to different places and then left them small and went and put some of the bread crumbs in front of the door. They had finished what was inside, but they saw continuation outside the door. I opened, they came, and the big man, if you knew Amegashi, he was bigger than you.
Yeah.
He jumped. I'll sell it. I'll sell it to you. I said, this is how your plays had become.
That's all.
Later on, I joked with him. I said, I played that game on you. I said, no. The mere fact that the place even developed mice meant everything was bad. So this is how I started the cabin. The cabin was where he had his wedding. His first wedding was a lecturer at KNUST. He hadn't even roofed it, and all that. Came and took over. That is when I started. But before then, I had brought in all kinds of things, 8-track cassette. You know, the cassette players, the bigger one.
The bigger one, yeah.
With the players and all that. I couldn't do any business with it because at that time, people were used to the small ones.
The small cassettes.
And they were also fitted in cars already. So to get the new brand going
was difficult.
I lost there. But you see, in business, because some of you who are listening to me, don't listen to me only on academic grounds, business and politics as well. We need this country to lift up. If you make $10 million and I make my $1 million, I'll respect you, I'll love you, because I will not going to lose any of my 1 million. But your 10 million, you could probably use it for other things that can affect humanity properly. So when you're listening, that is why I'm coming out with some of these openings. So we did that. And I got started. Oh, I even brought in used shoes. See, I've seen one shoe here, which reminds me of that. But you see, platform shoes at that time.
Yeah, guarantee.
You see, and I wanted to bring them to Ghana from US. When you have a shoe and it tears off a little bit, it becomes seconds. So they throw it away, it becomes 50 cents. See, and I started collecting them. And I brought them. Because at that time, people I was with and all that thought it couldn't be done. I said, if people will buy Brony Wewe shirts, why wouldn't they buy shoes to match?
At this time, you were still lecturing.
I was still lecturing, yes.
And what was the experience like lecturing? Because you had done some 2 years lecturing in Purdue University, coming back to Ghana. What was the experience like lecturing in UST at the time?
At that time, you were getting radical boys in the outfit. You know, it was good teaching. Engineering wasn't for everybody. But you still had boys who were smoking, who were drinking, and would come to class. And I had one boy called Joe Olai. You know, when I start teaching, after about 15 minutes, then he comes. He gets to the door, he holds the door, and they say, boom, boom, boom. And then everybody's attention goes there, and then he opens the door, then he raises his hand, then everybody starts shouting, Joe Olai. Now I say. Oh, yes. So I decided to cut that one off. He did it today. 2 days' time, he was going to repeat. I said, there's going to be an exam, a test. Oh, what's about you? Haven't taught. Hey, test. I'm the teacher. It will go against your report.
Joe, like what you know?
Yeah. 2 days' time, he tested. You know the highest was 25%. For a class, later on, I had 2, 3 second upper students.
Yeah.
You know, they all flunked. Because I will color the questions as if I had mentioned them. But when you start calculating things, you realize that there were things you haven't started learning. So they started paying attention. And it worked.
Oh, it worked
2
for
years
Joe Olai
later,
too.
I'm coming to Joe Olai. After 2 years or so, he had managed to finish KNUST, was working near town planning in Kumasi. He ran into trouble with the police. Let me spare him the details. So he said, one of his friends, he called me his friend, owned chicken bar. The chicken bar was the name Amegashi gave to another restaurant in town, where NIB is right now was my restaurant years ago. I bought that when I bought the cabin. Okay? So they came, they had held him, and, you know. So I saw him, and they clicked, that must be Joe Olai. And I was sitting at the back there after lectures, and I was sitting trying to go through the previous day's sales and all that. So I looked at him, I said, I'll play one on him. I shouted, Joe Olai Masa, and
that must be very interesting, being a lecturer and see your students, former students in this situation.
Yeah.
So now that you are in Kumasi lecturing nicely, and at this time you didn't do any politics, like national politics, when you were lecturing?
Oh, I was doing it. My colleagues were always insulting me, attacking me. I obey politics. So
which year was this?
75.
Oh, okay. So this was Kutua Champon.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
I see the energy with which you said yes. I mean, there are a lot of things to say.
Oh, absolutely.
So you've been watching Dr. Kwame Amoako Tuffuor on Footprints, and this is where we want to lower the curtains today. My name is Samuel Atamins, and make a date with us again another time where we definitely will be having a continuation of this conversation. Thanks for watching.